Welcome back. We're here to do the energy update for the collective as well as the joint connection. Yes, tonight I will be on screen. I don't look fantastic, but that's okay. If you do want to get the next edition of the Twin Flame updates, they are open to the members. We also have our super chats. This month in the members, we're going to be having 3 super chats because we are moving into eclipse season. And as I'm doing this read, we are also having the new moon in Pisces. And why is this important? Probably because you're going to feel quite dehydrated. Hi, Ben. It is a new moon. And we did have intense aspects moving into the weekend. So if you did feel ratty and agitated, we were having squares. And how it showed up was pretty interesting, especially for us in Australia. Chime in, tell me where you watching from, wherever you are in the world. And at some point, I'm hoping I will be able to pull up different countries' astrology so that we can have a chat about how I see some of these things playing out. Now, we were, I believe, having squares. I'm going to have a quick look to jolt my memory. What was I seeing? We'll look at today's energy. Okay. Current positions. Now, leading up the weekend, we were having intense aspects, as I mentioned. We were having Mars making a square to Uranus, which it still is right now. Mars also is sitting in the house, I believe. I'll open another screen of Aquarius. Why is this important? They're both Uranian energy. Okay, so we have Mars sitting. It moves on the 10th into Aries. That's going to be interesting. Okay, so as of today, it's in Aries. But it was prior to that, it was in the house of Aquarius. Now, what I noticed was, and I did say, hi, Island, if you were in a large group, because Aquarius can be sort of like group energies, it could be shopping centers, it could be stadiums, social settings, but it's large groups, so to speak. There can be temperamental energy that's coming through. So ironically, there was a large, and we have seen a lot of Mercury-related dynamics. The way I'm picking it is because there was agitation and heat and frustration. If we were seeing accidents on the road, it was because of that Mars energy going too fast. And you usually get the shadow energy of situations. So when we may place predictions, so to speak, sometimes it's already picking up on that energy, i.e. we're moving into an eclipse. We're already going to see subjects to do with Libra coming up. Although we are in the energy of Pisces, which I'll explain what that's going to be before we get into the twin flame update. So what I saw with Mars squaring Uranus, and it was squaring another area as well. I think it was squaring Venus. Let me double check. Mars squaring Uranus. What else was it? Lilith is making a quincunx to Mars as well. And we have a conjunction to Chiron. So we're being challenged to actually face our wounds. There has been tension. There's been frustration with trying to get things off the ground. A lot of us have been really trying to tie up the loose ends of the previous Pluto cycle. So it's almost like we're multitasking and we're wondering where this new beginning's coming from. Now, I said last month, because we were having the moon in Virgo, the shadow sign being Pisces, to really keep an eye on that axis, because as we did move towards Pisces, the OCD may kind of dissipate a little bit, but the other polarity we'll get with the 12th house, because it technically is, it's a Venusian energy, so it's anything to do with your money, your love life, your value, your psychology, as well as being the 12th house, your spiritual value systems, how you see things. There's going to be intensity. It is a new moon. It's a new chapter. So it could be that you feel you're cleaning shop, trying to get things done. But emotionally speaking, with individuals in your household, you could be more impatient. You could be less tolerant at this point in time. Now, subjects to do with homelessness can come up, refugees, water. We could have patterns coming up because Pisces can link to water. So there is a potential, even though we do have the North Node in Aries, which can increase temperatures, it heats things up. It's also the house of self. We are having subject matters to do with relationships over the next 2 months playing out. But with Pisces at this point, it's almost like, where is that dream? Where is that new beginning? Depending on where it falls in your zodiac sign chart. These are usually with Pisces, we can find that we have unhealthy boundaries at times. We also can find that our minds can be a problem. Psychic attacks during this time can also be quite possible, especially for those of you that are very susceptible to energy, maybe quite spiritual in nature. Is it a good time to do meditation? It's a good time to have your house clean. It's a good time to use crystals. Yes, you can use... You wouldn't necessarily want to open your third eye any further. Generally, it opens as it transitions. If you have ego involved, it will be difficult for the third eye to open because we have a very fixed, set belief. Now, it can be that we're leaving some things spiritually behind and moving into the new. But if we have attachment, it can feel very difficult. So spiritually, it can feel as though we are having difficulty with having these new beginnings and trusting in the process, so to speak. So that's one way it can be playing out. You can use a crystal grid. I would do some home clearings. And yes, your dream state can be very psychic in nature. So if you are feeling energy that is very heavy, again, protect yourselves. You can use jinn removals, guided meditation, definitely keeping your hydration up. How are you doing, Jan? I think Yildiz might say something that's a message for me. I was just about to go to sleep and then I found myself opening YouTube. So how you been? So zodiacs, those of you that are Virgo and Pisces, this can transform you quite a bit at this point in time. We all have placements in our chart. You can go onto AstroSeek and you can just write AstroSeek birth chart and it will ask you to fill the details in. It's probably the one that you can say, hey, I don't know what time I'm born. You can look at the degree points to roughly work out whether you're a cuspy in certain areas. The other thing is you can looking at your birth chart is going to give you a signature of what's coming. Now, some of the signatures are reminding me back to 2017. Why is this so? Because I have said to really closely pay attention to this Pisces moon because it's where the nodes are going to be next year. And I always feel we get this signature coming through that is quite key for what is to come, especially because we are going to be having eclipses in those areas with this year coming. So it's going to have that introduction to next year's North Node. Or the next cycle North Node. The other thing is the axis between Aries and Libra at the moment is transforming, and the way we're having relationships, contracts, connections is changing. Our ideals can be, there always was a risk with the North Node. We could be self-centered, but there is a harmony between Libra and Aries that we're working through at this point in time to find a healthier way to manage those circumstances. You can have huge revelations, and I feel, especially with Aries and Chiron at this point, it's actually giving you some pointers. Those of you who have been following me since way back when in 2016, you'd really understand from the ascension process and the astrology I was covering how far we've actually come. I do believe the collective will be going into huge revelations in the next 2 years to do with their deeper connections. And generally speaking, you will find pocket groups of individuals will, what we deem as, wake up. And I do believe the collective will be following that. And it can be a difficult time for them as they're transitioning through. They'll be finding like-minded tribes. You know, Pluto and Aquarius is really tribes. It's connections, it's groups that they feel they resonate with. It's where they feel safe. We can be more private. Sometimes there's shame associated to those things because it is Scorpio in nature. But it's group energies. It's friendship groups and alliances and what works and what doesn't, and really getting to the nuts and bolts of things. So spiritually, as we do move into the North Node in Pisces, there's definitely going to be a transformation. There is a positivity and a negativity with the North Node in Pisces. One way I see it is we generally have difficulty with trusting the process and having new beginnings and, going with the flow and using our intuitive energy and having faith in things. So this can even be trust issues with situations because the shadow sign, again, is Virgo. It's the detail. It's give me the evidence. Sometimes we have to trust our instincts with things. Sometimes Dana Scully and Mulder without evidence. So that's one way it can play out. The positive is, again, whenever we're facing the North Node energy, it can be having to really discuss certain subjects in that particular area, which at the moment with the North Node in Aries, if you look back in history, as much as I don't like to call this, a very, how would you say it? I don't like to tag things theoretically, but it can bring up subjects to do with toxic masculinity. Now, does it have to be that it's a male that is that area? Not at all. It's the polarity between the yin and yang and finding that healthy balance between the both, so that we can harmonize and we can actually function effectively because we both have yin and yang. Any quick questions before I get into the update? So how have we been doing with the squares? The squares, honestly, I wanted to whoop ass last night. I'm very spiritual. I'm aware of the astrology. I warned all my co-workers in my second job that, hey, FYI, this energy is going to be pretty intense. And regardless, we're not immune to it. And I had to grind my teeth, I can tell you. Yes, sleeping also will be an issue. Generally speaking, you'll get it with the Virgo energy, but again, the shadow sign's Pisces. So Pisces can be nighttime, keeping up, getting dehydrated. You also can be, it's almost like if you were to have one beverage, you could get intoxicated a lot quicker. So you need to be careful about flushing and clearing it because the side effects also can be psychic attacks. Trying to balance the mind. Yeah, well, Libra does have wellness. So we've got the 6th house. So Libra has the 6th house. That can be anything to do with your health, your patterns, bad habits. Could be eating late at night. I think that'd be quite a trivial one, really. I think they're more also the pressure points of feeling that you have to, do everything for everyone sort of thing. So it can be a very busy time for Libras and there can be some impacts at the moment. And I think a lot of Libras really got the signature that they were needing to get organised and maybe get some old situations kind of wrapped up so that they could get some balance, especially because for Libra, Pluto has now moved into your 5th house. It's like, years ago I heard a subject and it was to do with the zodiac sign Libra and them wanting to, that the 5th house meant they were having fun. 5th house can be creativity. Sometimes they mention illicit affairs in that domain. But I think it's more to do with creativity and the legwork that you need to do. Sometimes in the 5th house you can gain weight, but again, it's Pluto, so it will be more so a different subject matter, really. Yeah, I've got a job offer coming out of the blue this March. Well, it makes sense because you have, the eclipse in your 1st house being a Libra. For those of you that don't know, those individuals that, do chime in, generally I get to know them. So, tell me your zodiac and I'll be happy to rat off some information. I just happen to know that Jan has Libra in her chart. Got a job offer. Yeah, so your 1st house with the eclipse can be a change in status. That can be with relationships. It can be, again, I do predict for Libra and Aries, that can be blast from the past and transformations happening there. The energy seems lighter for me over the last 3 days. Yeah, not for me. Edgy. Different. I think for me, I have felt off on food. A lot of people have been saying they've been really hungry and not kind of again, it really comes down to your zodiac of how your aura is affected. Pisces, you would find you may crave, this could be something that's more quenching. Maybe it's fruits. It could be beverages. And again, spices. For some, it can be spices. Pisces, Sun, Aries. Pisces, Sun, Aries, Sun. Well, it's a new chapter for you. So you probably want to spoil yourself. You're probably going to be moving in a new direction. You may need to care for teeth and bones with Saturn's position. Venus and Pisces. Oh, shit. New moon. New moon. Could be a pregnancy. Could be. If you're a starfish, you know what I mean? If I were a different person, I'd go off. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty full on. I think balancing it, especially because we had Pluto move out of Capricorn, it like I always knew from a karmic perspective at the 29-degree point, a lot of those energies that would like build up and blow up like a balloon, and then it's going to come back again towards the end of the year. Yeah, and you will transition. You will transit. Things will change. Like the way you'll look at things will change. You'll be able to observe potentially people's behavior patterns. And because you've walked a mile in their shoes, and like I said, a lot of people wake up earlier, and we kind of have staggering effects with different individuals as per their zodiac, as per where they are, you know, on that awakening scale. You will find you will relate to other individuals differently. Yeah, well, there you go. There's the Pisces energy because it's a moon. Okay, so let's look at the joint connection. Let's look at the overall energy in the joint connection. Aries Sun. You should have a lot more energy coming up soon, Swope. Aquarius Moon. Oh, you're definitely going to have an image change. Image and relationship change. What do we have? Oh, gosh. Okay, both parties here in the mix are trying to have the strength to move forward. Anyone relate? It's like, is there another mountain? I'm trying. Trying not to mess you up. You might not even be here, but I'm trying. Look at this. I'm trying. Okay. So the energy together, jointly. Look, there can be some unresolved feelings. There can be emotions. I remember back in the heyday, you know, I wouldn't call it heyday, I'd call it hell. In the separation time and the point where you're dissecting it, psychoanalyzing it, having revelations to do with what's fair, what's not, how it should have been. Initially, we might have, to a degree, kind of made excuses for the situation, etc. And then we kind of be humble pie. Then we can get a little bit narcissistic to a degree, and it can be like, no, this is, not right. And then we come to that plateauing effect where we're really calming things down and looking at both sides and trying to come out of our body to look at the whole situation. So it's the 7 stages of healing. And I think in each stage you look at it differently. So there is potentially some old things that are coming up for both parties here. This can be delayed feelings, delayed emotions. Now, that can be negative and positive, but there is a delayed emotion here. I also do feel the immense frustration to do with certain circumstances and really wanting, again, I'll just say, to have some reprieve, for something to give, for something to shift. I feel, it's almost like in the joint connection, Both parties at a point did the best that they could, the old energy of who you both used to be. And I think there can be some weariness. It's almost like you're tuning into the future and you're thinking, if this person comes back the same, or, the same situation is going to repeat, oh my gosh, I really don't want that to happen. But physically, I think it's because you're looking back to how it was and how hard it was to cope with those things. And you're really fretting about it, that you really don't want to have to repeat that. Is that the status? Is that what's coming back? I think it's more the wound. As I mentioned, we have the position of Chiron and Aries. I don't think it is coming back the same. For those of you that are in communication, this signature will be equally as important, because the trigger point can be coming from inside the connection. But regardless, be it you're in communication or you're not, this is a signature that's been shown to me. And it feels as though there could be some worry about the fact that potentially, oh my gosh, is this going to come back? I think if we can come back to this place really of the energy of the moon and understand that our emotions are heightened and we can feel stuck in some subconscious way, in trusting the process, I would say give this 3 days. And it's, as long as you can try and keep grounded and try and detach, I feel that you're going to make it through that portal. But there is some anxiety that's coming up, and it can also be almost messing with your head, getting up in your head, getting very worried about it, feeling very tense, the prickly skin. Try to do your breathing exercises and come back to the here and now. If it's something that you're retrieving, like it's kind of a vault that you're returning to, and you feel you're getting some good out of reflecting upon it, great. If it's not, try to come back to the here and now, because it could be causing some angst and almost like some fake fallacies that it's telling you. Yeah, the Virgo energy, shadow energy of Pisces. It's almost like in the heart of the matter, I feel both parties here are trying to be very rational. I do feel divine masculines feeling anxious to a degree in a certain area. There's worries, there's stresses, there's self-criticism going on. I also feel that on divine feminine side, relating to it, there is, again, it's like trying to be rational, trying to keep calm with this. There, like I said, there's some unfinished business here. Ooh. Statement pieces are coming through from divine feminine here. I definitely see. Oh, okay. For some of you, there could be a look how this can play out. It can be a myriad of ways. There is a financial situation going on here. Now, could this just be at a base level of you raising the bar and feeling like that you're worth so much more, that you need to be shown so much more? Yes, like I said, we're moving into eclipse energy. But the other thing is a situation to do with money. There's something on both sides of the fence where there could be a problem. For some of you, it can be that you're looking at your twin and you're like, hey, they're very focused on this. Why is this such an obsession? Why is this all they're focusing on? Sometimes it can be because you're in a different situation and quite focused on the romantic connection, whereas they're focused on more the foundation. And I think both parties are trying to come to a medium ground with that situation. Both are adequately necessary, but one is obsessing about it more so than the other. Okay. Yeah, some of this can be a bit of confusion. It's almost causing confusion. Some of you are feeling that there's something amiss, there's something off. It can't just be that one subject. It's like, yeah, it's really coming through like you're feeling something's off. I do feel even those of you that are in communication, it's almost like words are being minced. It can be causing both individuals to be misunderstanding. It's almost like lost in translation. That's kind of what I'm getting. It's like even in the 4D, trying to get that communication through to each other, you're kind of getting these mixed signals. Some of you can be having dreams, and the dreams are really confusing to you. You're quite not understanding what the dreams are trying to show you. Yeah. Some of you are also feeling this person can't pass a spiritual test. Yeah. Oh, whatever the signature is, divine feminine's almost getting to the point where, and this can come through very signature orientated. What do I mean by this? When you are in complete separation and you are not in communication, there is a situation your body goes through. You do get to a point that you are really detaching from, it's almost like you're disillusioned. You get to this state of being disillusioned, you start making plans for yourself. You require more. It's not, I wouldn't say from a narcissistic point of view, it's more from a point of view of going, look, what I need in my life is different. It's consistency. It's someone who's working with me. I don't have to be under your armpit 24/7, but I definitely need a lot more than what I'm getting. So because you're sending this signature, be it you're in communication or not, they're picking up on it, and it's actually causing a tower moment. I feel because divine feminine is detaching, because you're feeling this person is being a bit flighty. Now, for some of you, yes, this could be another chapter with a different individual. It's like you're looking at it like, would I need to move forward with someone? The other thing is, it's like they're going to change overnight, because it goes from the King of Cups in reverse to the King of Coins upright. It feels like there is a change overnight. It's really weird, but it does. It feels like it's the same person, but it feels there's a change overnight. From, yeah, going through the modes of things. And this Pisces moon was always going to affect divine masculine. I'm just saying. There's something that's not being broached here, okay? If it has been quiet, I feel it's due to the Pisces moon. Let it dissipate, and I feel the doors can open. Yeah, divine feminine staying true. Divine feminine's almost not budging. How many of you can relate? There's definitely, it's almost like you're like, no, this is what I need. Do you? Okay. So who are we looking at now? Masculine. My dreams have been off the chart, sure UFOs, and also working behind the stress in my dreams. Yeah, so it's almost like, look. Oh, this been, okay. So are we doing the masculines or the feminines first? Feminine's energy already relating to the circumstances. Pissed? I can't say pissed. Yeah, we'll wait. I won't give any more tip-offs. And let's see, over here. Hi. And let's see masculine's energy. Divine feminine's like, what's this BS with the third-party energy? Now, could the third party be a person? It can be, depending on your circumstance. Not always is there a third party. Sometimes when we get the third party card, it's actually a conflict of interest. So it's almost like attachment, hang-ups to do with the past, trying to clear it. I mean, if you look back to any relationship you've had, especially for those of you that have been on a journey in life a lot longer, more than likely you've had a previous relationship, you've had to go through a karmic breakup. Sometimes it's merely clearing the clutter in our minds, and that would actually be an adult way to address the emotions. Not necessarily all of us will do it that way, although, like I mentioned, next year with the North Node in Pisces, from a karmic point of view, a lot of individuals will go through that, and it's almost like facing your shadow, facing your abandonment wounds. So yeah, those circumstances can come up next year for individuals that haven't started waking. Okay, so who are we looking at? Feminines or masculines first, of the perspective looking into the connection? I do think there's a swap. Look, especially those that are in a karmic relationship. You're like, some of you are even wanting to move. Well, that's interesting, feminines. We haven't chosen yet. Oh, God. Okay, feminines, you're flat out. I'll just get into it. You guys are looking at things like, oh, you want masculines now. I'll show the crowning energy of each. You guys are just looking at the circumstance really from a point of view of going, what is it? Is it a person? Is it a place? It is a thing? Is it always somebody other than me? This can even be those of you that are in communication, a conflict of interest. It's yes, these are trigger points. These are, when are you moving to your destiny? When are you moving to your, it's almost like I'm picking up on Juno. It's like the Juno energy, the betrayal energy, the old wounds cropping up, the look, when are you going to bloody pick me kind of scenario. Now, masculine on the other side is having guilt. It's almost crying over spilt milk. And this can be between a rock and a hard place and feeling they can't make everyone happy. Almost feeling as though there are regrets and sorrows of the past. And again, that Pisces polarity does bring these things up. I think the good thing about this and the bad thing, and I'll go back to the astrology a bit later, Mars moving into Aries is going to be that physical movement. It's the masculines getting that energy back, wanting to get in and get things done. So for those of you observing your kind of social crowds, if you want to get a 101 of what masculines collectively are going through, which will give you a PDF for your twin, really look at the male energies, the masculine energies rather, in your social settings, and it'll give you an idea. So they can be more energetic, more assertive coming through in the weeks following. This also could be they could be driving a lot faster on the road, and becoming more assertive. So this can be putting their foot down inside their karmic relationships as well, especially because we're leading into the eclipse in Libra, which can link to changes in status of relationship. So past tense, what were they dealing with? This has been very challenging, and I would say 5 months. For divine masculines, I do feel it's been a challenge for about 5 months. This can be some very testing situations. It's almost all these changes, getting disillusioned, feeling, gosh, are we ever going to get there? What am I fighting for at this point in time? Is there a victory? Unsure. This especially can be with certain transits. It's like you have these revelations. These revelations can be key point times in your life where you feel you've got to stop and take an audit and say, hey, is this plan I directly had taking me to my destiny, or am I just, absolutely getting nowhere? And I think they're having a revelation about this. Okay. There could be, especially if it does come down to a karmic situation. This can be a contract, it could be a partnership. There could be something where they're feeling they've gotten themselves in the thick of a circumstance, and it could be messy. Those that are married, for instance, it could be, hey, in the hard parts, I know what I need to do. I need to follow this further. I need to sever a contract. I need to address this. I might need to get maybe some professional advice about how I'm going to handle this. This, again, money has come up for these individuals. It feels it's like, okay, how do I untangle myself from a circumstance at this point in time? I feel there's been butting heads in their life. They do feel that you've been patient. They're also, it's almost like they're agitated and feeling they just can't sweep the situation under the carpet any longer. Is something they really need to address. And so they're just jumping in the deep end. They're like, right, I've got to address this. Oh, they could have the gift and the gab in this situation. What's going on here? I think this is a pretty intense week. Whatever this is, if this is a karmic kind of cycle that's been wrapping up, if this person's in any shape or form of denial, maybe they empathized on this situation, maybe they felt bad. I'm kind of seeing that it's going to get worse as we move towards the eclipse. I feel they're becoming disillusioned by a cycle in their life. Too many. This is a shake-up, but I feel this is for a purpose. I feel this is for a reason. I feel as though it's almost like to give them a double confirmation that they're on the right track and they do need to let this situation go. It's almost like they're going to have a chain. I can't say a chain of very unfortunate events because I think it's more a 101 of what the dynamic is. So if this is a person, it's poor behavior coming through from them. If it's a workplace situation, it's the thing that drove them crazy the most, repeating, enough to get them to the point they're going, oh my gosh, I just can't do this anymore. So it does feel it's divinely guided. It is to help them into their brand new cycle, but it's just to give them that double confirmation that what road they're going down is not destined for them. So it's a little bit like we say, you get the 3 warnings from universe, you get the intuitive energy, the near miss, and if you don't do anything, you get the tower. But the tower usually follows the star, so there is a good outcome. So this is a cycle that is starting now. And I do feel it's to do with the eclipse. So there is a change in the heart of it. They're accepting the fact they need to. There could be some sense of guilt, even though it's not what they're wanting. I'm going to pull 3 cards to see how they feel towards divine feminine. At the moment, I do feel guilt, okay? Guilt. The people pleasing will end, because we can never make everyone happy. We just can't, unfortunately. They feel you know them very well. They also feel that if you were to observe them in this state, you would have something to say. There definitely is a reason why it's been out of sync. They're also making a reference to the fact that I'm hearing, oh God, I haven't heard this song in years. If You Don't Know Me By Now. I think it's Stars. Simply Red. Where are the lyrics? I used to love that song. Written by Kenny Gamble. So, you're welcome to listen to the song. I didn't know you were just up the road from me, Chris. Simply Red. So, yeah, it's like, come on, read between the lines. You know me. You know what this is. I've got crap going on. It has nothing to do with us. This is how I see it, but there's something that's really heavy that they're trying to clear. And I mean, hey, Pluto is at the 29-degree point. We're all in the thick of it at the moment and dealing with it. It's some old situation. And it can make us feel this way, right? You're not the problem. They also feel you can pick up on it. Now, Divine Feminine is just like, look, I don't know what it is. I don't know where it is. I've looked under my armpits. I just want to be first. If there's conflicts, I don't want to battle. I'm not doing no mud wrestling with this situation. I'm tired of playing dirty and not interested. So there's a frustration here. You knew and felt, when you looked at the past, this was your connection. This is your spiritual connection, okay? The frustration is the influences, the external, the always something coming up. You're trying to look at life in the bigger picture. It's almost like Penny Little, the sky's falling down, and, feeling where are we positioned? How are things? How are things there? There could be a child for some of you You could have looked at your romantic connection with this individual as, you know, small offerings. Yeah, if you have said in the last few weeks, even a small amount of change would do, be careful what you ask for. I'd say that. I have said it myself. I remember saying that, and I was like, yeah, no. And it's not that that person has to come towards you perfect. It's unrealistic. We're not going to be perfect, but with the best of intentions, with the effort and intent. And I feel that. So there is an offering, I feel, and some of you psychically maybe are picking up on it. This can be coming in quite neutral. It can also be trying to have a casual chat with you and allowing that to kind of flow so it opens up. However, you feel this person does have the tools. You feel they do have the tools. They are able to do this, you know. Pisces, there's plenty of fish in the sea, but what you're feeling is that this energy, this individual does have the tools. And so it's not so much you don't have empathy for it, you're requiring a lot more. Some of you could have some dynamics going on in your family at the moment. Okay. Now, those of you that have a twin in a karmic relationship, you're looking at it from a different perspective. Some of you may know that there is finance involved and it could be causing issues. The others, it could be to do with home. Some of you could have heard what they're moving into. They are divinely guided, these situations. Don't believe they will remain as a status quo. They generally are there for a karmic transformation. However, I do feel your needs inside this connection are very different now. So you're open to a connection with these individuals. However, it is going to be a different way of relating and having a relationship. There is a blessing that's coming towards you. Okay. You also could, yeah, they're making reference to a situation playing out with the mother energy that you could be concerned about at this point in time. Okay, some of you could receive a text message or a letter. Oh, this is so cocky. You, those of you, you more than likely know this person's going to open up. You're like, they're going to have to open up because I'm not going to make this situation. It's not your... Many are within their right if there has been a very unfair, disrespectful situation that has played out to sit like Little Miss Muffet. That's a different situation. If the person is moving out of a karmic situation and resolving it, that's different, okay? So some of you do feel as though you are, you know, just sitting there, you know, you're doing your thing. This person's got to learn in their own shape or form, and it feels as though the clock is ticking. Okay, that's what I'm picking up on. And I feel many times the key is to mirror the energy back, not from a negative point of view, but from a point of view of allowing that person to work their issues out, to come towards you, and to be quite neutral, because I feel whatever's going on over here, it's going to happen very quickly. And I think you being as grounded as possible is going to aid you, because I do feel this person's coming in. Okay, what warnings do the joint connections need for this week, please? Before we wrap this baby up, I'll have a quick chat to you. So, oh, you got the star. It's crossing it. Oh, wow, shit. Sounded like a real Kiwi there. Okay, so there is a... Okay, the sacrifices aren't going to be for nothing, okay? So what you're needing to know is the things you're going through at this point. If you've been to hell and back in the last few months, it's not going to be for nothing, okay? There is going to be a judgment coming up. We also are moving into eclipse season, so it's going to move very quickly. These are the portals where we will have reconciliations. These are the portals where we will have karmics leaving, masculines or feminines leaving karmic relationships. This is going to move quick. This is going to be very quick. This can be sudden transitions. They're also making reference to don't underestimate this person, because it literally shows that, how do I explain it? I asked what was crossing this. Is your belief that they're not going to be moving quickly, okay? And I do feel these individuals are coming in. They're having the courage to walk through that door. This is after leaving of a cycle. This is the star, so there is going to be a positive outcome. But again, even in a previous read, psychically, what I'm saying is on these cards, there's 2 moons. There's a breakdown of karmic relationships. Okay, so what you need to know is energies in our lives that aren't meant to be there are being cycled out. We're transforming. We're also intuitively going to be able to read in between the lines with the Pisces moon of seeing through any lies and deceit. And this can be a change to do with feminine karmics, I would say, being that it's a moon and, again, it's in the hangman position. Betrayals and deceit are coming out into the open. And this is causing separations away from circumstances. I'm also feeling Divine Feminine is guided to keep her cards very close to her chest and listen. But I definitely feel many of you are going to see a shake-up. Another way you can tell that these predictions are accurate is in the weeks coming. Look at the media and see the separations. Okay? We're moving into the eclipse in Libra. Those that are no longer in alignment with the circumstance, with alliances, the North Node in Aries will shift those energies to the place of self. Any questions? Get ready for the movement. That's usually in alignment, Leo, next. Doing things with your daughter, fun. Yes, I got milked into helping my daughter with her veg collection today, so she had the garden. Been a bit run down, need an iron infusion on Tuesday. See, that's Libra with health. It's like, yeah, I've got lots of energy. Not. So, yeah, definitely family. Especially for Cancer and Capricorns, a lot of those things are coming up. Did you get your super chat, Cosmic Journey? Oh, we got the reunion cards. I'm bending these cards, poor babies. Reunion. Who's ready for reunion? You're like, reunion? See, it's usually when you're disillusioned and detached, it happens. You're like, you're welcome. Trust me, I don't even remember what I said. Yeah, reunion. The reunion always starts with self. When you have realized it's part of the journey, you probably won't believe me till you go through it yourself. But when you do. Yeah, initially you're negative. You're like angry, and then there's nothing. It's just calm. It moves to beyond numbness, neutrality, like you're returning back to the world. And it's not for very long, trust me, it's really not. Have you ever said to yourself, whenever I get my shit together, they turn up? Why is that? Because you move through disillusionment. You might, make excuses, kind of deal with the situation for a while, delaying the inevitable of being, taking the poker face off, being authentic. We go back into it, move out of kind of the have revelations where, we're doing things we usually wouldn't do and move back into alignment again. So in the separation stage, when you're at that point, you're definitely you're not angry. You do think of them. You do. You may have equal energy to neutrality to, well, beautiful, lovely, wish you were here. I hope you're doing everything that's making you happy. I, in my authenticity, know who is important, and that is you. But you can lead a horse to water, you can't make a drink. And you will start making plans for your life. It'll be socializing, it'll be connecting, it'll be building businesses or working and making spiritual plans for your life. And then bang, the phone call, the door knock. And they can be sudden kind of decisions you make, like I'm moving. So how many have gone through that in the last few weeks? This can be a week I wouldn't make any major decisions. Go with the flow through the eclipse. But more so because of the Pisces moon. Give it 3 days. I'm having inner anger conversations about him cursing lots. Oh. I'm in north 4 miles and south of the country line. You even move beyond that. You realize that if you had, look, nothing is assured in life. And I think once we can learn to accept that, we then can learn to enjoy the here and now. We're always in the future. We're always in the past. That was one of my biggest faults in my twin flame path and my life. Is that there was the anxiety of what if it doesn't work? What if the past repeats? Oh, the past was so great, So I was never really in the here and now. And then I had this revelation I could die tomorrow. And if I had a year, would I be satisfied with that? If I had 2 weeks, would I be satisfied with that? And we all should be. We all should be in a place that we are learning to enjoy the very moment of it. Have you ever noticed when you have a twin come back and you've had a great day and it's been great, you go back into the questioning mind? It's because you're psychoanalyzing and dissecting it, yet it was given to you. You had a moment with this person. It was very sacred. It was very spiritual. It was very balanced. So why can't we remember and honor that at that point in time and then accept that and compartmentalize it, not give it an autopsy? So moving into that in all the areas of your life can really harmonize different attributes of your life. Any other questions before I love you and leave you? But yeah, trying to find that harmony and that kind of neutral ground will really help. If you do want to join the YouTube members, we do have a Discord chat room. Let me get the update. We also do have the super chats. Separately, you do get the pre-released content, which is the masculine, feminine, and karmic. And we also do have the masculine, feminine, and karmic out now. I will see you next week for the update. If you do join the members, we do have the chat rooms where you can converse with each other daily.